Hello. In times gone by, fire design requirements for farm sheds were a bit vague and confusing. However, over the last year or two, the Victorian Building Authority made several changes to the building code that have made fire regulations a lot clearer. So as much as this topic seems a bit boring, we felt it is important enough to shoot a video on it. I'm Lester, one of the team members here at Action, and it's the Australian Building Code that governs what is required when it comes to building design. And under the revised code, there are two classifications for structures that are going to be built on farming land. There's the farm shed, and then there's a farm building. So I'll start with the farm shed. A shed will come under this classification when it's on land primarily used for farming, and A, it's used in connection with farming, or it's used primarily to store farming vehicles, or a combination of both. B, it's between 500 and 2,000 square metres in floor area. And C, it's not occupied by any more than two persons at any one time and not for an extended periods of time. So a hay shed or machinery storage shed and a smaller scale grain sheds would all come under the classification of a farm shed. For a farm shed to meet the fire regulations, the following requirements need to be met. There's to be one ABE 4.5 kilo dry chemical fire extinguisher per 500 square metres of floor area. So a 1200 square metre shed would require 3 of them, for example. When fitting these extinguishers, the top of it must be no more than 1.2 metres, but no less than 100 millimetres off the ground. And finally, fire extinguisher signage is required and must be a minimum of 2 metres from the ground, positioned directly above the extinguisher. Now for the other classification, a farm building. Again, a shed will come under this classification when it's on land primarily used for farming, and A, it's used in connection with farming, or it's used primarily to store farm vehicles, or a combination of both. B, the total number of persons accommodated at any one time doesn't exceed one person per 200 square metres of floor area and up to a maximum of 8 persons. And C, with a total floor area of not more than 3,500 square metres. Examples of sheds that would be included would be workshops, dairies, shearing sheds and larger scale hay sheds. So for a farm building to meet the fire regs, the following requirements must be met. It must be located within 60 metres and not more than 90 metres from any part of the building of a water supply with a minimum capacity of 144,000 litres. This water supply could include a water storage tank with approved CFA fittings, a dam or reservoir, a river or a lake, or even the sea. And this water supply must be located such that it allows emergency vehicles to within 4 metres of the source. Secondly, an ABE 4.5 kilo dry chemical fire extinguisher and signage must be installed adjacent to every exit door. And lastly, one 5 ABE 4.5 kilo fire extinguisher and signage must be installed in any room containing flammable liquid or electrical equipment. So, that pretty much sums it up. Fairly brief, but it's the key points, and if you're considering building a farm shed and aren't sure about any aspects of these regulations and requirements, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help. And as always, if there's any other questions you might have, please get in touch. Thank you.